Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream and welcome to the home of the world champions. Big up to every single one of you that's locked in already. Make sure you're smashing the like, subscribe if you're new around here. And as always, make sure you get involved in the chat. We have got another packed show. Loads and loads to dive into. The Xavi Simons to Chelsea move has accelerated and is gathering serious pace. Chelsea in negotiations with Simons' camp, and club-to-club talks are expected to take place in the coming days. Simons wants to join Chelsea. We're going to be diving into all the latest on that. All the latest on the future of Nicolas Jackson as well, with Chelsea valuing Jackson at 80 to 100 million pounds. Plus the latest on Joao Felix. Chelsea are still active after opening fresh talks. There's news on Trevor Chalobah. We've got news on Raheem Sterling, with Chelsea wanting about 20 million pounds for him. Chelsea want 43 mil for Joao Felix. I don't think that's going to happen. And Christopher Nkunku's asking price has also been set at 43 million pounds. There is so much to dive into, chat. Loads and loads to get stuck into, as always. But before we get into it, just a quick reminder, people. A quick reminder. Make sure you check out Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Great quality, affordable prices. Make sure you're looking fresh throughout the summer and for the new season in the Chelsea home or away strip. Names, numbers, badges, whatever you want on the back and sides. Get the badge in. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description, guys. Right. That's enough about that. Let's say hello to a few of you guys, and then we will get the show on the road. Yes, big up, well, yes, big up. Run those likes up, absolutely, people. If Xavi Simons wants Chelsea, we should not be messing around. Just get it done. I don't think we are messing around. Sterling going to the Bundesliga at 20 mil looks likely. Well, apparently there's a Champions League club in Europe who are interested in Sterling. So, I mean, yeah, it's maybe Italy, Portugal, Spain, Germany. Who knows? Yes, big up, brother. Day 10 of being world champs. Chelsea won, it's consistently been reported throughout the summer, Chelsea won 8 or 9 attacking options to rotate between next season. So, yeah, with Nkunku, Felix and Madueke going/gone, there's room for another one to come in. What if I've already got my Chelsea shirt but without the World Champions logo? Well, bro, you have to go to the shop and get it stuck on. We need to buy another centre-back if we sell Chalobah. I don't think we're going to sell Chalobah. No, I don't think we will. I don't think we will. And also, by the way, it is an impossible task for any football club to keep every single member of a squad like happy, quote unquote. No player is going to be absolutely delighted with the amount of playing time they get unless they're literally starting pretty much every week. You just can't keep everyone super happy. You can keep them content and players will get decent minutes at Chelsea, no doubt about it. But it is impossible to keep every single player absolutely delighted. It's just not a thing, chat. Just not a thing. Not able to do it. Any club. All this with Sanchez in goal still. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the kit with the gold badge is popping. Xavi Simons. Yeah, I mean, let's get into it. Because this one, bro, I think the players will know their place. But let's get into it. Because the Xavi Simons stuff, like, it started gathering a bit of momentum yesterday at the back end of yesterday's show. And things have moved very quickly since then. This is the latest from Florian Plettenberg, and then we'll get into the latest from Fabrizio on this as well. Talks between Chelsea and Xavi Simons' camp, which also includes his brother Faustino, will continue today. The goal is to reach a verbal agreement. Xavi's open to a move to Chelsea. Talks with Leipzig will follow in due course. In the event of a transfer, Chelsea can imagine playing with 2 number 10s. Interesting. Arsenal are so far only waiting in the wings. As for Bayern, he remains a personal topic for Max Erbo. Fair enough. So that's all about Bayern Munich. So yeah, look, Chelsea are looking to reach an agreement on personal terms. So that won't be an issue. Simons' wages aren't massive at Leipzig. He'll be able to get a pay rise at Chelsea. and still be well within the wage structure at the football club. Yes, Xavi Simons can play as a number 10. He can play off the left as an inside forward coming in off the left. He can also play a bit deeper as a number 8 if needed. This is a multifaceted, very talented young boy. Very talented young boy. We're not going to have, in my opinion, we're not going to have any issues whatsoever reaching an agreement on personal terms. And I think, if you bring Xavi Simons in, it probably means that Joao Pedro can predominantly play up front, and then you've got depth for Cole Palmer in the number 10. It also might allow Cole to move out to the right-hand side on certain games. So you could have a situation, chat, where you play Palmer on the right, drifting in, Joao Pedro playing Xavi Simons as a 10. You have Gittins on the left, and you might have Joao Pedro up front. You could have Simons drifting in from the left. You could have Palmer drifting in from the right. You could have Joao Pedro as a 10 with Liam Delap or Nicolas Jackson, if he's still here, up front as well. I'm a big advocate of signings that are going to give the gaffer more options. You can never have enough options at your disposal, chat. You can never have enough options at your disposal. I mean, look, Ali Barat, obviously, yeah, he's a super agent, a facilitator, as it were. Really excited. Look, Chelsea obviously got good relationship with him. You need to build good relationships with the big agents in the game. Baded Egbali knows Ali Barat very, very well. Very well. He was key in the Caicedo deal, the Chelsea key in the Nicolas Jackson deal, and obviously played a big role in Noni Madueke's move to Arsenal as well. So Chelsea and Barat have got a good relationship. I don't see any issues with a deal going there as well. If he plays as a left 10, where does Enzo go in possession? I don't think we need to be worrying about Enzo Fernandez in this team, because Fernandez can play, in a 2 with Caicedo. Fernandez can play in a 2 with Caicedo, no problem, in my opinion. No problem whatsoever. Yeah, and look, Xavi Simons, I said this yesterday, or maybe I said it in a video, but if we continue next season to set up how we set up in the semi-final and the final of the Club World Cup, this is a perfect signing. It looks like there's going to be like one out-and-out winger on the left, and then more of a left forward who drifts in. So you have Gittins for your out-and-out winger, and then Xavi Simons would be the guy that will drift in from the left-hand side. So just different options, chat. Different options. Neto will play on the right-hand side. Again, it's all about options. Palmer will predominantly play as a 10. But it's great to have an option where you can be like, do you know what? Maybe we play Pedro Neto on the left. Maybe we put Xavi Simons or Joao Pedro in the 10. And maybe we try Cole Palmer on the right. You can never have enough options, chat. This is the thing. Now, the Joao Felix deal was very, very different. The Joao Felix deal was purely to facilitate Conor Gallagher. No one actually wanted Joao Felix at Chelsea. The Omarodion deal was done. It was in the bag. Mysteriously fails a medical, and then suddenly, Chelsea are buying Joao Felix. Yeah, that deal stunk from the moment of the get-go. Bundesliga is not a good hunting ground for Chelsea. No, it hasn't necessarily been, in Nkunku, Havertz, Werner and whatnot. Gittins obviously come in. Let's see how he does. But Xavi Simons is a top player. Top player. No, I don't think we will. Again, it depends what the initial payment is, what the upfront fee is. But look, if it's 55 million all in, that's not bad at all. Yeah, me as well. Me as well. I think we probably have to slightly let go of the Morgan Rogers thing, unfortunately. By the way, chat, 174 people in the building, 28 likes. What are we doing here? We're doing up some Rasmus Højlund conversion rate, chat. Smash up those likes. Run it up, run it up. We should be on 100 likes already, chat. So keep smashing the like button. Let's not do a Rasmus Højlund thing here. Versatility is awesome, really important. Love and very proud that we won the Club World Cup, but I think the gold badge in that position would look better on the sleeve. No, I don't think it does ruin the shirt. I mean, each to their own opinion. Yeah, I know. I'll bring a tweet up in a sec, chat, on this. Disgusting light ratio. Yeah, disgrace. Absolute disgrace. The community is better than this. The community is better than this, chat. We know that. What price do I think we get for Simons? To be honest, I think we get Simons 55 all in. I'd be looking at a similar price to Jamie Gittins, probably. A similar price to Gittins. I think we can get £55 million all in for him. That would be my guess. Yep, he come through at Barcelona, went to PSG, then he went on loan to PSV Eindhoven, on loan to RB Leipzig, then permanent move to Leipzig, and now he's hopefully going to come to Chelsea. Bro, the Rodrigo thing was always a dream. The Rodrigo thing was always a dream. That was never, ever very likely to happen at all. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, Vega's closing in. That's another thing that we're gonna chat about a bit later on as well. Just a quick update on that. Yildiz suits us better. We need a ball carrier. But we've got ball carriers in the final third now because Xavi Simons is a very good ball carrier as and when he comes in. Joao Pedro is a very good ball carrier as well. We've got ball carriers in the final third. You know, I don't think we're looking for a ball carrier now. Yeah, including the add-ons. Yes. Yeah, look, Xavi is willing to come. By the way, this is not my information. I'm just discussing the news that is out there. But yes, according to all reliable sources, Xavi Simons is willing to come to Chelsea. So again, let's just bring this up from the secret scout as well before we get to Fabrizio on this, because this has gathered pace really quickly. So this was from yesterday. Chelsea have brought in consultant agent Ali Barat to assist their recruitment team in a deal for Xavi Simons. Unlike the recruitment team to need help, who would have thought that? He's helped on many deals at Chelsea. For the owners, they want this done. So do I. We want it done. Understand 2003 born Xavi prefers move to the Premier League. Agreeing terms won't be an issue. Of course it won't. Talks to begin between Chelsea and Leipzig to agree on fee and potential add-ons. This is what we are talking about, chat. This is what we're talking about. Happy with Simons? Yep, Xavi's priority is to join Chelsea. Bro, this one's always funny because when people talk about a player's character, not a single one of us know any players on a personal level for us to be able to make that judgment. We don't know them. We simply don't know them. You know, you hear a lot about XYZ players' attitude or whatever. But look, for one, I've not followed Xavi Simons' career closely enough to know if there are any attitude issues. If there are any attitude issues. Villarreal are expected to make a loan offer for Axel Disasi, whatever it is. Fuck them. Yeah, you would think so. To be honest, I think the only way Garnacho would come to Chelsea now is if it was involved as part of a deal for Nicolas Jackson. Yeah, looks top. No, it's not confirmed yet. Not confirmed, but negotiations are well underway. And yeah, the deal is looking like it's moving forward quickly. I would say best position, probably coming in off the left or in the number 10. Bro, Villa need to sell. Villa aren't loaning Emi Martinez. Absolutely no chance. Yeah, but again, he hasn't got an extensive injury history. You know, he hasn't. Inside 10, Xavi Simons drifting in from that left-hand side into that left inside 10 is going to be sensational. You know, we're going to be seeing, maybe we're going to be seeing a lot of this next season, a lot of these ones. What's this celebration? This one here? We're going to be seeing a lot of them, chat. We're going to be seeing a lot of that. No, but it's not, though, because the way that we're setting up, well, certainly how we set up in the last couple of games of the Club World Cup, is that Maresca doesn't seem to be as obsessed with both sides being touchline wingers. You know, he's happy to have one touchline winger on one side and then maybe more of a drifting, an inside forward drifting in. You know, I don't see an issue of this deal at all. You could have Simons drifting in from the left. You can have Palmer playing as a 10. You could have Palmer on the right. You could have two drifters on each side with Joao Pedro in the 10 role and Delap or whoever up front. You know, this is the thing. And again, this is another thing, right? In that tricky period we had when we didn't really have anyone to unlock, those low blocks. Xavi Simons, for me, is a player who will be able to unlock the low block. You know, he'll be able to unblock the low block, which is very important, chat. Very important. He's someone that can do that. He's very creative. His assist numbers throughout his career have been very, very good. Very, very good. We could be back. Yeah, exactly that. You know, if you look at Simons and, bro, the guy scores a lot of goals from outside the box. He's got very, very good ball striking. You know, we saw that one where he spanked it top bins against England in the semi-final. Oh, 100%. 100%. Bro, we're not going to get both of them. Simons will come in, and then we obviously know that Nkunku, Felix, etc. will leave. Garnacho, for me, only comes if Jackson goes the other way. I don't see any other way in which he comes. I think Garnacho at this stage, if he remains in the Premier League, which is believed to be his preference, yeah, again, look, Simons, Hato, goalkeeper would be exceptional. Not necessarily, but I think it means that Pedro will play more down the middle. But again, he's another one that can play 10. So I think that really gets Pedro as a 9/10 if Xavi Simons comes in. So Pedro will be playing 9 or 10. Simons can play off the left or as a 10. Palmer can play 10 or off the right coming in. You know, this is good stuff, chat. This is real good shit going on here. I would say that he's probably more likely to start on that left-hand side than Gittins is. Yeah, I would say he's more likely to start on the left than Gittins to begin with anyway. But again, it will be horses for courses, chat. You know, it will very much be horses for courses on that one. Look, Rodrigo's not coming. And to be honest, Simons probably suits us better than Rodrigo. Bro, if Sanchez proves all the doubters wrong, then I'll have to come on stream, order myself a family-sized humble pie, and eat it live on the show. That's what will have to happen. I'll have to order a family-sized humble pie and just tuck into it on stream and apologise. But yeah, no, I don't see that happening. No, not hugely new. Not hugely new. Yeah, this is exactly it. You know, we don't want someone. We're not looking to. Maresca said this several times. He doesn't want one player scoring 40 goals. He wants 4 or 5 players who are going to chip in with 10 to 15 goals between them. If you look at the attacking options that we've got, because I tweeted this out last night. We're probably going to do a little bit of shameless self-promotion here, chat. But let's have a quick look. We're going to do a bit of Actually, before we do that, Let's get into the little myth-busting thread from the guy formerly known as the Euro expert. Xavi Simons read here, Chelsea fans. Tamaresca's team, I like it. Fits in well as a left wing coming inside for the box midfield. Alternative to Gittins, who plays as a touch-time winger or a straight-up 10. Talent-wise, definitely of Chelsea standards. So let's see what. Here's a thread on why I think Xavi Simons hasn't been signed yet. His weakness may make him an awkward positional fit, but I still really love him. No history. Did get an injury last season, so the following words reflect his position over the last 2 seasons. So, former system, the 4-4-2 is definitely the one Simons has played the most football in. Starts as a left mid, but really an attacking left mid. Has a free role to drift across the pitch. Simons is a ball-to-feet player. He wants to be driving towards defenders. Let's get to the positives. Jesus Christ. Let's read the positives on Simons. Still, let's start in the pure positive areas. Agility, balance, body positioning being one. There's a lot of buzzwords, but basically Simons is just incredibly hard to read when he has the ball. Can change his body position as fast as anyone I think I've seen. Going from, I'm going to cut inside here to, no, I'm running down the line in an insanely quick time. That's one thing, by the way. If you look at any highlights of Simons or you watch Simons, the guy's fucking rapid. This means he can weave through challenges incredibly easily, like he's working at a different speed to defenders. Simons went to La Masia. So now another pure positive, movement/receiving. Simons went to La Masia and it really shows. He's not just a sharp, skillful player, but a really intelligent one. A lot of it comes down to scanning. Simons is consistently aware of his passing options, his marker's position, and how much space he has. Now throw in the fact he can play clever flicks and back heels, and you have a very dangerous player to allow to receive the ball. He can draw his marker in and flick it off to a teammate, quickly turn a player forward pass, or, and my favourite, drop in to receive, play it back to the passer, spin in behind, and receive once more. Pass and move, pass and move. Whatever the case, everything Simons does is quick. He's a dream in midfield to build combinations, occupy space, and pull markers around. So he sounds pretty positive, chat. But in terms of options, by the way, let me just bring up what I tweeted out yesterday, chat. So this is it here. So, Chelsea reportedly want 8 to 9 attacking options to rotate between next season. So, you've got Gittins, you've got Neto, you've got Esteval, Joao Pedro, Palmer, Jackson, Simons. So, Gittins, Neto, Esteval, Pedro, Delap, Palmer, Jackson, Simons. That's eight positions there, providing Nicolas Jackson stays. So, that's 8 options you've got in attack. Left-hand side. You've got Gittins and Simons on the left. Neto and Esteval on the right. Palmer in a 10 with Simons or Pedro. And you've got Delap and Jackson as your 9s, or Pedro can play as a 9 as well. I think that is a really good crop of attacking options that give you that cover multiple different positions across the front line. Am I wrong, guys? Am I wrong? 2 players competing for each position. That's what you want. 8 or 9. I think 8 there is fine. Those will be the 8. Because if Jackson leaves, then another number 9 has got to come in. And I don't know who that number 9 would be. And this is a good player, chap. This is a good player. And these are great options. Look at how many games we're going to play next season. We're going into the Champions League as well. Now, admittedly, there's a bit of a element of risk. We don't know how good Esteval's going to be straight away, how long it's going to take him to get up to speed. We don't know how long it's going to take Gittins to get up to speed. We've seen what Pedro can do. We've seen what Delap can do. We know about Palmer, obviously. We know about Neto. Jackson, we know what he can offer. This is good, healthy competition, chat. Good, healthy competition. I wouldn't have it any other way in that sense. And people think, that's overkill in the attacking positions. It's not, though. 2 on the left, 2 in the 10, 2 in the 9 role, and 2 on the right. Again, Pedro can play 10 if needed. Simons can play 10. Palmer can play 10. Delap and Jackson as 9s. Pedro can play as a 9. Neto can play through the middle if needed in an emergency, for example. So you look at this and people that say, oh, why are we going to get Simons? Well, this is exactly why. Because we need fucking competition for places and we need multiple different options, you know. We need those options. 4 competitions were in this season. The league, the Champions League, both domestic cups. We want to be going as far as possible. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be suspensions. Different types of opposition are going to warrant, you know, different players from the starts or different players from the bench. And you look at those names there, and I do believe that we've got we've got most bases in attack covered. I'll be honest, bro. The man of the match awards in the Club World Cup, they're all fan voted. They're all fan voted. Some of those, as much as I like Esteval, there are a couple of them games where he probably didn't deserve the man of the match, but they were all fan voted. Simons means no Garnacho. I think so as well. I think if Simons arrives, then that will put the Garnacho rumours to bed, in my opinion. Yeah, look, it's definitely possible across all comps for Delap and Jackson for one of them to get 20 goals. I think so. When Jose arrived and we won the league title, he insisted we have 2 players of great ability for every position. Remember up front, Drogba, Crespo, Johnson. On the wings, Joe Cole, Arjen Robben, Damien Duff, Sean Wright-Phillips. You know, options, chat. Yeah, we're going to get onto Jarell Hato shortly. Caicedo already played 38 matches in PL and Club World Cup, every game apart from suspended one. Yeah, Asuga will probably play some games as well. Yeah, that's looking unlikely. Martin, I hope so. I hope they are in for a real roasting. Because for too long now, we have been mocked. But now, we're coming back on the up. We've had a brilliant end to the season. Champions League, Conference League, Club World Cup. We're making good signings in the window. I'm by no means saying that we're ready to challenge for the title, but I think we can definitely push the teams ahead of us. Yeah, I don't see it now. I don't see it now, unfortunately. Again, unless Jackson goes the other way. That's really the only way that this is going to work. Yes, Rodgers is currently untouchable at Villa, but this is the only way that it's really going to work, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, that's the latest on Xavi Simons. Bizarrely, we won't sign a world-class goalkeeper. Yeah, I agree, bro. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? It is a bit of a weird one. Guys, keep smashing the likes. We're 244 in the building. Only 75 likes. Let's get this up to 100 likes as quickly as possible, and keep smashing the subscribe button if you are new round here as well. Run it up. Do I think Jackson to Villa will happen? No, I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I think Villa are more likely to get someone like Garnacho, in my opinion. People have mentioned Leif Davis before. I'm not so sure. I'm not entirely sure whether that would be the right thing to do. Yeah, look, if Jackson... And this is, again, the only way Rodgers will happen is if Jackson goes to Villa. I don't see Rodgers happening in any other way for us, chat. In any other way for us at all. Bro, this is where I disagree. Because if Delap or Pedro get injured, we're fucked. One striker. Because Guiu is going to go on loan somewhere. And then you're left with Delap or Pedro down the middle with Neto as an alternative playing as a false 9. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. Yeah, I know. It's frustrating, isn't it? It is frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I can't lie. Very frustrating, chap. Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. It's definitely looking that way. But let's move away from that. I mean, the Xavi Simons stuff is gathering pace, and I expect we'll have some big updates on this towards the end of the week. But everything is moving forwards. Everything's moving forwards, and everything is moving in the right direction. You know, this is gathering pace. We're in talks. Player wants to move. No problem. I think this will be done certainly next week, maybe. Next week, I'd say, would be my estimation on that one. And then the last thing on Xavi Simons chat, before we move on to Nico Jackson, this was just a quick thing from Fabrizio on Facebook this morning. Xavi Simons has completely opened doors to Chelsea as his priority now. Club-to-club talks are set to start soon. So yeah, chat, this is a deal that's going to move forward quickly. Simons wants Chelsea. He wants the world champions. It's how we roll. Winning that Club World Cup has done wonders for us and how we're viewed as a club to certain players now. You know, I think it's really elevated our standing in the game, and yeah, shows that, you know, we are a serious team and what we're doing is working. You know, it is working. The back of the Chelsea shirt. I mean, there's nothing on the back. Outgoing news. We're going to get to that. Hater is a perfect backup and you lose nothing in attack. Yeah, I agree. Nope, Kendry Pires is going on loan to Strasbourg. That's going to be confirmed in the coming days. The three loanees to Strasbourg are going to be Mamadou Sarr, Mike Penders, and Kendry Pires, chat. Those will be the three that are going. Simons will be around, I reckon Simons will be 50, 55 million pounds all in my opinion. I think you're looking at more like 50 or 55 total package with maybe 45 or 50 up front. I think you're looking at a 40 plus 10 or a 50 plus 5 or something like that. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about players like Kendry Pires right now. But that is the latest on Xavi Simons. His move to Chelsea is gathering pace and gathering momentum. Now, there was a lot of updates on Nicolas Jackson yesterday, chat. A lot of updates. So let's start with what we had from Kaveh Solokol at Sky. Let's start with that. And this was his update. Chelsea values Nicolas Jackson at between 80 and 100 million pounds, with United among the clubs keeping an eye on him. Chelsea are under no pressure to sell. A number of PL clubs and clubs in Europe and Saudi Arabia are interested in signing him this summer. Any incomings at Chelsea continue to be exit dependent. And I think exit dependent doesn't mean on attackers going out. I think it just means exit dependent in general. That's how I would interpret that. Chelsea would ideally like to start the season with 3 high-quality players who can play in the 9 role. Having signed Delap and Pedro this summer, if Jackson were to leave, they may sign a wide player instead of another number 9 because Neto can also play through the middle. That's a little bit concerning. But Chelsea value Nicolas Jackson at 80 to 100 million pounds. Now, let me just get the rest of... Let's just read through this article, chat, and see what else has been said in regards to the Jackson thing. We're going to have to scroll down, I think, quite a way. No, maybe not. Let me find it, chat. It's from yesterday afternoon. But look, I think... this is it here. So Man United are understood to be keeping an eye on Chelsea striker Nicolas Jackson. Chelsea valued a forward at between 80 and 100 million. Yet Chelsea are under no pressure to sell as he's got 8 years left on his contract. That's right, chat. 8 years. If he was to leave, the 79 million Liverpool are paying for Hugo Ekitike would be used as a benchmark for any potential deal. Jackson has a better scoring and goal involvement record over the past 2 seasons in a higher standard league. Meanwhile, any incomings at Chelsea continue to be exit dependent. Chelsea would ideally like to start the season with 3 high-quality players who can play in the 9 role. They've signed Delap and Pedro this summer. Xavi Simons, Alejandro Garnacho, Morgan Rogers, and Kenan Yildiz are some of the players Chelsea are currently looking at. Let's be real here, chat. Nobody is paying this money for Nico Jackson. No one. No one's paying that money for Nico Jackson. Ekitike didn't go for £95 million. The package could be worth 95 million euros, but some of those add-ons may never be met. So when discussing transfer fees, you always refer to the base fee, in my opinion, because why would you include money in a deal that may never be paid or hasn't been paid yet? So Ekitike, the total could be worth 95 million euros if all add-ons are met. But right now, Ekitike, Liverpool have paid £69 million for him. Okay, and until any other add-ons are met, then the price of the player is 69 million. And again, like it was reported with Mudryk, you know, people keep saying Mudryk cost 100 million euros. No, he didn't. We paid £62.5 million up front with the rest in add-ons. Those add-ons are never going to be seen. Okay. Yes, all good, bro. Hope you're well. No one's going to pay that money for Jackson. No. The only way Jackson leaves, chat, is if he wants to leave. Basically, that's it. The only way is if he wants to leave. Yeah, I think Ekitike is on a mad wage at Liverpool, chat. He's on a mad one at Liverpool. Yeah, 95 million euros, add-ons included. But the add-ons, again, some of those will be easy to meet. Other ones of those will probably are unlikely to be met. It's not 79 million because 10 million of it is add-ons. So that's why 69 million pounds is the base fee. So that is how much Liverpool are paying for Ekitike. They could pay 79 million pounds if the 10 million pounds in add-ons are met. I'm not quite sure what people don't understand about add-ons, because add-ons there's no guarantee that you actually pay the add-ons. So why would you report something with add-ons included when there's a chance you might not pay the money? So again, 69 million pounds, potentially rising to 79 million with add-ons if they are met. Anyway, Nico Jackson, 80 to 100 million pounds. No one's going to pay that money, but there's been more on Nico Jackson. So that was the Chelsea valuation of Jackson. Then we had a little bit of this from Rahman Osman, who is a journalist who is close to the Nico Jackson camp. Man United have received a boost in the chase for Nicolas Jackson after he snubbed AC Milan and Napoli, but they will have to pay Chelsea 80 million for the striker. Jackson's preference is to stay in the Premier League. So let's see what this is saying. Again, Jackson wants to stay in the Premier League. So if he were to leave, if he wanted to leave, then it would probably be for a United or an Aston Villa. And this article is saying, Man United have received a boost in the chase for Nico Jackson after he snubbed 2 European giants, but they'll have to pay Chelsea 80 million for the striker. The Senegalese ace has already turned down offers from Napoli and AC Milan in preference of staying in the Premier League. Jackson has seen his once undisputed starting spot at Chelsea taken first by Liam Delap, who turned down a move to Old Trafford. The Senegalese was then pushed further down the pecking order by Joao Pedro, who announced himself at the Club World Cup with 2 terrific goals on his full debut. Pedro also scored in the final against PSG. Jackson's misery was compounded by the fact he was left on the bench for the entire 90 minutes. The former Villarreal striker is, however, a man in demand. And Napoli were the first to make contact with the player's entourage before eventually signing Lorenzo Luca. AC Milan have also made their intentions clear, though sources say the player loves playing in England and would prefer to stay in the Premier League if he were to move. Still got 7 years remaining on his deal, and Chelsea would ideally like to have two number 9s competing for minutes and pushing each other. But the transfer window is very fluid, and a project like that of United's could be of interest to the player. And if the £80 million valuation is met, it could tempt Chelsea for a sale. Aston Villa manager Unai Emery has a special relationship with Jackson from their time together at Villarreal. He's a big fan of the forward's ability to link up play, and sources have said that Villa have asked to be informed if the player becomes available. United have reportedly held talks with one of Jackson's representatives, that man again, Ali Barat, in a move meant to test the waters and assess the viability of a deal. Yeah, there we go. So again, anyone that wants Jackson is going to have to pay 80 million, and Jackson is also going to have to want out of the club. Nicolas Jackson, I believe so. Simons is not going to be a backup left wing, though. It's just a different option. It's just a different option. Chat, we're 7 likes away from 100. Keep smashing that like button. It's free. It takes seconds. So please keep hitting that like button. Run it up, run it up. Let's get this up over 100 likes, people. So yeah, run it up, guys. Run it up. It really helps me out. Charlie, you want to keep Nico, but he's ready to fight. But he's ready to fight for start. Yeah, of course he's ready to fight for starting lineup. You know, I'm pretty certain that Nico Jackson will be staying at Chelsea. As I've said, and I've said throughout the entire summer, the only way Jackson leaves Chelsea is if he wants out. And right now, I'm not really sensing any indications from any reports that Jackson wants out. So, as far as I'm concerned, he'll be staying, and he'll be a very, very useful option to have in the squad. Why would you not want Jackson as a squad option? Who are you going to bring in that does similar to what Jackson does for a similar fee? You're not. Yeah, I know. It's mad. We're going to have a lot of different ways of playing next season. We're going to have a lot of different ways of playing next season. I like him. I think he's massively disrespected. Yeah, you know, he needs to improve and stuff, and his finishing needs to get better. He needs to improve his discipline and all that sort of thing. But fundamentally, there's a good footballer there and someone who can offer a lot to Chelsea next season. I'm not saying he should be starting every week, but as a squad option, as a rotation option, I think that's pretty good to have, in my opinion. This is exactly it. If we think about it from last season, Gittins is an upgrade from Sancho. Well, hopefully Gittins can get more output. Xavi would be better than Mudryk with his versatile. Noni upgrade would be Esteval even as a backup. Yeah, potentially. Jackson is a good... Nico, good player, but horrible striker. Look, his finishing's got to improve. Yeah, we know this. We know this. And then... It was never going to be our striker. I mean, look, whether you want to call it third striker, look, I just refer to it as a squad option. You know, I just refer to it as a squad option. No issue whatsoever. I mean, look, Yildiz is a big talent. Rodgers is good as well. I don't know, to be honest. obviously I've seen a lot more of Morgan Rogers than I have of Kenan Yildiz. I'd probably go. I would go for Rogers, but I think Yildiz could be very special. Could absolutely be very special, chat. No doubt about it in my mind. Chat, keep smashing the like button. Let's get this up to 150 likes. Run it up. The likes really help. Does more than you could than you can imagine. You know, it spreads. The more likes something is, the more pushed it gets in the YouTube algorithms. Just one click of that button would be fantastic. Let's be grateful for depth now. If we can get 80 to 100, obviously, yeah, if you get 80 to 100 million, sure, obviously you take it if you get that, but you're not going to get that. Yes, big up to the maximum potential. You lot know what to do. Yeah, Rogers is not coming. I think, yeah, I think Rogers is not going to happen, chat. If we're being real here, Rogers is not going to happen. Yeah, it's not happening. Not happening, chat. Not happening. That's what Chelsea have set the price at. Yildiz is going to cost you 50 million plus, easy. I think Juventus would probably want 60 or 70 million pounds for him. No doubt about it. Juventus would want 60 or 70 million, chat. Easy. Yeah, I agree on this. And then what else do we have on Nico Jackson? We had let's get rid of that. We then had an update from Fabrizio when he was chatting. I think it was, we're going to get to the Cucurella backup. I think we're going to try and move for Jarell Hato. So we had the name of Nicolas Jackson is really tempting Man United, and they could offer Chelsea Garnacho in a swap deal. Internal talks ongoing to decide what they want to do. We've talked about this before, and I'll share my thoughts on it again. This would be one of the worst bits of business that we could possibly do, chat. It literally would make no sense. You get rid of a number 9 to bring in a left winger when Xavi Simons is going to come in, and you've already got Simons and Gittins for that left-hand side. I don't see this happening now. I don't see Jackson. The only way Jackson goes Man United for me is if they pay the money, and he wants to go. Otherwise, yeah, that deal is not happening. I do not see the deal happening whatsoever. Mate, it makes no sense. Because with Xavi Simons, you've got Xavi Simons and Gittins on the left. Where's Garnacho playing? And why would you get rid of a striker for a left winger? Why would you do that? What sense does that make? It makes zero sense. Zero sense whatsoever, chat. Makes zero sense. Yeah, and that's the biggest concern. That is absolutely the biggest concern here, chat. Again, what you're not understanding is that Pedro is not going to be an out-and-out 9. Yes, he'll play number 9 and he'll be an option there. But you need 3 strikers. You need 3 strikers in a squad. Delap and Jackson will be your out-and-out 9s. And then Pedro will be a player who can play as the 9, but will also play as a 10 as well. He'll be a versatile forward. Bro, these swaps never happen. These swaps get spoken about all the time, and yet they never, ever happen. They never happen. Now, the Rodgers thing's not going to happen. Look, it was probably, let's be real. It was going to be Simons or it's going to be Rodgers. And it's going to be Simons. It's going to be Simons, chat. It's going to be Simons. Yeah, they very rarely happen. It's all this great fantasy idea, and it's, oh yeah, we're going to get a swap deal, we're going to do this. Yeah, because he is. Because he is. You know, at this point, you know, people, I don't understand how people can be of the opinion that Jackson would not be a good squad player for Chelsea. I don't get it, chat. I really don't understand it. It literally makes zero sense to me whatsoever. 0 cents. Guiu's not going to be the third choice. Guiu's going on loan. Xavi Simons will play on, will come in from the left, and he will also play as a 10. Again, mate, this is just a complete presumption. You're literally, what are you basing that on? You're just presuming that to be the case. You know, that's not a fact. You know, that's your opinion, and that's fine, but that is very presumptive, and no one actually knows that. No one knows that. Yeah, I think you're kind of right in that sort of, yeah, that number 9 sort of role, that Firmino type role. Esteban, I think, will play on the right. Different players. You know, Simmons will play a lot from the left, but I think Gittins will also play a reasonable amount as well. Gittins will also play a reasonable amount as well. You know, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he play a reasonable amount? Is what I would say on that. Why would he not play a reasonable amount? They'll both play. They'll both play quite a lot, chat. They'll both play quite a lot. Bro, what top striker are we getting? Please tell me what top striker we'd be getting. Yeah, this is exactly it. You know, Jackson wants to stay. Jackson wants to stay. That's the situation right now. Obviously, as the further we go through the summer, that could absolutely change. He could change his mind. Of course, he could change his mind. But then obviously, yeah, Ben Jacobs has then provided a quick other update on the Jackson Man United situation, and then we're going to move on to outgoings chat. Well, actually, no, we'll move on to Jarell Hato quickly. So, understand United are currently unlikely to bid for Nico Jackson. Unlikely to bid for Jackson, chat. A lot would have to change for that to alter in the coming weeks. Not impossible due to respect for the Chelsea striker, whose name has come up internally, but a possible move now downplayed as it stands. Downplayed, chat. Man United are currently not pursuing Nicolas Jackson. Situation will only change if finances of a potential deal alter significantly. And the finances of a deal are not going to alter significantly. So that's where we are, chat. Jackson United, appreciation for the player, not going to happen unless the finances change quickly. Unless the finances alter significantly. So right now, Jackson to United off. Not going to Serie A. Nothing really with Villa either. So as things stand, chat, Nicolas Jackson will be a Chelsea player next season. And I'm sorry to disappoint a number of people in the chat there, but that is what is looking like is happening right now. That is what is happening right now. So there we are. Let's clear that up on Nico Jackson. But moving away from Nico Jackson, there's been another small update. What about Tyreek George? Loan. He'll be heading out on loan. Tyreek George will be going out on loan. That will be the situation with him. Loan deal. Yeah, I personally, look, never say never, but I don't see it happening. Even Rory Jennings in his podcast said they're doing everything to sell Jackson. Mate, Rory Jennings is not the oracle. That's his opinion. You know, that's his opinion. And we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens with it. Well, the only way it will happen is if Chelsea significantly drop their demands and if Jackson wants to go. And I don't see either of those things happening. So there we are. Nothing new on a goalkeeper at the moment. Let me just bring my screen up on Joao Felix. So people asking about a backup left back. Chelsea, this is from Ben Jacobs. Chelsea are still active on Joao Felix after opening fresh talks. No bids yet, but one to watch. I mean, chat, I don't know about you. We need to get a fucking move on. Do you not think, chat? We need to get a move on here. If this is the guy that we want, let's go and get the deal done. You know, go and make an offer to Ajax. You know, get in contact with Hato. Work out the personal terms. You know, this really, chat, in terms of a backup for Cucurella, this is the only player we've had any mention with at all that can fill that role. There's been no one else mentioned in terms of filling this role, chat. No one. So I don't really know. I don't really know what we're waiting for here. I don't really know what we're waiting for here. I mean, what are we waiting for? It's a real strange one. A real strange one. No, that's not going to happen. If we sign Simons and Hato, it should be enough. Bro, we need a goalkeeper. I'm sorry, but we do need a goalkeeper. That for me is crucial. Absolutely crucial. Yeah, and again, Hato can play centre back as well, so can give you a bit of cover there if necessary. So yeah, I guess are we waiting for? I don't know. We're waiting for Vega to leave, and then we're going to use that Vega money to go and put an offer in for Joao Felix. Is that what we're doing? I'm not too sure, but I don't get what is the hold up here. What is the hold up, chat? I get it. We're in active talks, but what are we unsure about here? What are we unsure about? You know, that's what I need to understand. What are we unsure about? I don't think we're operating in a system where you have to wait for one transfer to be done and then we move on. You know, you should be spinning multiple plates at once. That's what you should be doing, in my opinion, in regards to Joao Felix. Vega will be leaving, yep. No, mate, Jadon Sancho won't be coming back to Chelsea. There's no room for him now. Gittins and Xavi Simons. Gittins in, Xavi Simons looking like he's on his way in. So yeah, there's no space. No space for Jadon Sancho. He made his decision, and that's that. Yeah, maybe that's the hold up. I don't know if that's the hold up or not, but Yeah, maybe that's what we're. Maybe that's it. Yeah, bro. I'm of the same opinion as you as well on that one. I'm of the same opinion. Chat, we're 20 likes away from 150 likes. Smash the like button. Run this up to 150. Let's try and get this to 200 likes. There's 252 in the building. And please smash the subscribe button as well if you are new round here. That would be greatly appreciated. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Every new subscriber would really help. So smash up the likes and subscribe if you're new, chat. Only after selling Vega to Atletico, we move for Hato. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. What message is that? Oh, I've already read that. Chat, I'm going to have to scroll to the bottom. I can't keep up with all these. To be honest, I think it'll just be Simons and Hato, because it should be Simons, Hato, and a goalkeeper. But I personally don't see that being the case. So yes, Chelsea are still active on Hato. They've had new talks with him. Let's see, once Renato Vega gets finalised to Atletico Madrid, let's see what happens. Let's see if anything accelerates on the Hato front once we've got that move through. Let's see if anything improves. Let's see if anything changes on that. Let's see on that. Yeah, I think so. No, I don't see Garnacho coming. Bro, Sanchez is going to get more than playing time. He is going to be the first choice. He will be the first choice. That's the way that we're going to be moving. So yeah, that's the latest on Hato. We're clearly waiting. I guess it's maybe dependent on Renato Vega moving on, but that's the update on Joao Hato. Chelsea are aware, active on the situation, no bid yet. Let's see what happens once Renato Vega and Atletico Madrid is sorted out. But that's enough on the incomings. Let's talk about outgoings. And let's start with Christopher Nkunku, because this is from the Simon Johnson in The Athletic today. Chelsea have dropped their asking price by 22 million for Christopher Nkunku and want around 43 million pounds for him. I don't know about you, chap. I still think that 43 million is quite a lot for Nkunku. I still think it's quite a lot. You know, yes, the guy had a reasonably good Club World Cup, and he played much more than any of us expected him to play. But considering we signed him for 52, and he hasn't lived up to expectations at all. I mean, I know we're good at selling players, right? But even for us, chat, even by our standards, I think that would be pretty hard to pull off. Yeah, 40 million. I've always maintained, I reckon 40 million is about right for him. I think 40 million's about right. Sure, but you know, right now, if you're going off his recent form, that's what you've got to be looking at. That's what you've got to be looking at. I mean, look, we know that there's interest from United. I think there's RB Leipzig potentially interested in him as well. I think for me, a £40 million total package is probably the best we can hope for in terms of Nkunku. Sterling, Felix, the Sassy, Sterling, Chilwell. Sterling, Felix, the Sassy, Chilwell need to go. Yeah, they will go. Even during his good patch in the Club World Cup, his deficiencies were quite obvious. Yeah, I mean, look, for example, someone like Xavi Simons playing in that sort of left inside forward is just going to be so much better than Nkunku playing there. So much better. Yeah, but bro, he scored 3 goals in the Premier League. So that's where you've got to apply context. Pretty much all his goals came in the Conference League. 3 goals in the Premier League last season. No, I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's just not worked out at Chelsea. It just hasn't worked out for him at Chelsea, and that's just that's the way that it goes sometimes. That is the way that it goes sometimes. You know, it's not worked out for him at Chelsea. It's not worked out, chat. But does not mean he's a bad player. Doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that at all. Yes, big up to Jay. Are we at the 150 yet, chat? No, we're not quite. We're 7 away. Keep smashing the like button. Oh, let's not do this nonsense. How are there still people doing Felix prop in 2025? The guy's a joke. He's been absolutely abysmal everywhere. No club wants him. Like, how are we still doing Felix prop in 2025? Honestly. It's honestly baffling. What a ridiculous question that is. What a ridiculous question that is. Because Ekitike wasn't even playing in the Premier League last season. I'll tell you one thing, though. Ekitike will score more than 3 Premier League goals this coming season, if that's what you're trying to get at. Bro, to be honest, I don't see us getting a centre-back. I don't think we'll get a centre-back, chat. I personally don't see that happening. I don't see a centre-back coming. Don't see a centre-back coming. I think Hato, if he comes, that will be the centre-back signing, as it were. That will be the centre-back signing, chat. I'm not even getting into this argument. You know, if people are still propping Felix, that tells me everything that I need to know. That tells me everything that I need to know if you're a Felix fan in 2025 and think the guy's good. Oh, yeah. Let's bring that one out. Yeah, the Felix just needed game time nonsense. Every time the guy played, he was rubbish. He offered absolutely nothing. Well, I mean, that's not really a surprise, is it? That's not really a surprise. Because if Arsenal were getting him, I'd imagine that the conversation would be totally different surrounding him. Would be totally different. But yeah, I do think that Nkunku will leave. We'll get semi-decent money for him, and we move on from there. So that's the latest on Nkunku. £43 million Chelsea want. I think total package, we might be able to get that. I think on a total package, we could get that. So yeah, let's see how the Nkunku stuff develops. But I mean, let's move from Nkunku to that man, Joao Felix, because he's done, dusted, finished at Chelsea. But we paid £45 million for him. And after a shocking season where he did nothing at Chelsea and nothing at AC Milan, I'm not sure how we think we're going to get £43 million for him. Mate, if we got offered 30 or 35 million for him, that would be an absolute steal if we got that. An absolute steal. I just don't see how we're getting that. The only team that are really interested in Felix are Benfica. And Benfica aren't going to pay £43 million for him. They're not going to pay it. Chat, we're still 5 likes from 150. Smash that like button. Let's run this up. Run it up, run it up, run it up. And keep subscribing if you're new. We're not going to get that money for Felix. 43 million is some sort of joke. So, I mean, look, Felix to Benfica. I think it will happen, but I think it's gonna. I think it's going to be a loan, to be honest. I think it'll end up being a loan with like an option to buy or something like that. But 30 million, look, loan with obligation is fine. Just get me a loan with an obligation for Felix, and we can move on. Well, look, the strange thing is that Omarodion was done, dusted, fee agreed, and then mysteriously, he's failed his medical, but he passed his medical for Porto. So yeah, I don't know what happened. I think something happened. We chose to do a deal with Jorge Mendes at the last minute. We pivoted to Felix. Gallagher went to Atletico Madrid, and that is the only reason we signed Joao Felix. The only reason we signed Joao Felix was because of that. So yeah, he wants Benfica. Fine. Let's try and come to an agreement. But whether it's a loan or whether it's a permanent deal, there needs to be some form of permanency to this deal. There's got to be some form of permanency to it. Because we can't just have a straight loan with an option where there's a route out with an option. There's got to be a permanent. So either he goes permanently or there's an obligation to move him on. Simple as that. So that really is the latest on Mr. Joao Felix. Let's see what offers come in. Let's see what offers are going to come in for him. I suspect this will be one that goes well into August. I don't think there's going to be one. This is going to be one that's a quick solution. I don't think it's one that's a quick solution. So yeah, I just hope this gets dealt with pretty quickly. Hope it gets dealt with pretty quickly. But yeah, it looks like Benfica, or I don't know. I don't know where. Mate, Jackson's done way more for Chelsea than Felix ever did. Mate, no big clubs went for Osman because he's greedy. That's why. No big clubs went for him because they obviously think he wasn't worth the money and there's obviously something that they don't fancy. So for someone who's supposedly one of the best number 9s in the world, the only options that he had were Al Hilal and Galatasaray. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about Osimhen? And again, Felix heading in a similar sort of direction. In a similar sort of direction. I mean, look, Felix has got talent, of course he has, but Felix has obviously got talent and ability, but since he left Benfica, he hasn't really realised any of it. Atletico Madrid, I think he was okay for 1 or 2 seasons there. Didn't happen on loan at Barcelona. Didn't happen on loan at Chelsea. Didn't happen at Chelsea this time round. Didn't happen at AC Milan. Hasn't happened anywhere for him. Other than Benfica when he came through, it's literally happened nowhere for him. No, it's not though, is it? Yeah, 10 goals in 30 games, 1 in 3. That's not that amazing. Complete and utter bollocks. I don't know why people keep reporting that. It's from literally the worst source. I mean, it's even disrespectful to call it a source. That Fisher has, whatever it's called, shambolic. Literally make shit up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, in Ballers League, it'd be great, wouldn't he? Yeah, in Ballers League, Felix would be fantastic. Mate, he was with Milan in Serie A for the second half of last season, and he wasn't cooking at all. The fucking stove wasn't turned on. There was zero cooking. My guy was doing no cooking. Yeah, I actually like KDH. I actually like KDH. This is what Felix fans do. They blame. This is what they do. They blame the team every time it's the team. Oh, Milan were a shambles. Oh, he didn't get game time. He didn't do that. It's never Felix's fault. Never ever his fault. But the one common denominator throughout his entire career is him. Managers, clubs, different players, different leagues. None of it's worked out. And the only common factor in all of that is him. And yet you just continue to come up with nonsense. Bro, Milan printed off that return to sender label and they sent him back in a parcel force van. The geezer was shit. And I just don't understand it. Because this guy's got all the talent and all the ability, and he should be playing for a top football club, and he should be one of the best players in Europe. And he just hasn't reached or realised any of his potential at all. None of it. None of it at all. So there we go. Bro, I can tell you now, Simons and Gittins will both score more goals for Chelsea than Felix did. They will both score more goals for Chelsea than Felix did. If that's what we're doing. Exactly. I mean, look, Dewsbury Hall, I've got no issue with Dewsbury Hall being a squad player. Doesn't moan about game time, comes in and gives it 100% and actually does a decent job. So I've got no problem with that. But it's not just Simeone. It's multiple. It's pretty much every manager he's had hasn't been able to get anything out of him. No. What we're saying here is that there was a reason why Poch didn't want to sign him on a permanent basis after that loan. And we're seeing why. We're seeing why. Yeah, for Vega they will. Yes, for Vega, I see that. I see that getting done. Yep, T Crom, we can agree on that, brother. We can agree on that one. We can agree on that one. Bro, if Barca wanted to keep him, they would have worked out a way to do it. Because they put all sorts of fucking levers and pull money out their ass from anywhere. They just didn't. They didn't want to keep him enough. They didn't want to keep him enough. That is the reality of the situation. Chat, we're 185 in the building. We're 40 likes away from 200. I reckon we can do this. Smash up the likes and keep subscribing as well. If you are new round here, make sure you run it up, guys. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Yeah, run it up, chat. Let's get these likes up, people, and keep subscribing. Yeah, exactly. But that's the situation with Felix. Chelsea want to sell him. They don't want a loan. They want 43 million. I personally feel we're going to struggle to get that money for him, but we will see if we do or not. But going from one player I think we're going to struggle to get that money for, across to another player who I think we're going to struggle to get the money for. Raheem Sterling. There's been very, very little about him this summer. But this morning, we had news from The Athletic. Offers of 20 million will be accepted by Chelsea for Raheem Sterling. He began pre-season training last week, and a Champions League club in Europe is keen to sign him. Now, we know, chat, we know that Sterling will have to take a pay cut. We know he's got to take a pay cut. There's no getting away from that. £20 million, I think, is whatever, fine. The biggest thing, get this guy's wages off the books. Once those wages are off the books, that is a big, big game changer for us. So, yeah, Champions League club in Europe. I don't know which one it is, but I don't really see Sterling getting a much better offer than that from anyone. I don't really see him getting a much better offer than that from anyone, chat. I personally don't see it. Personally don't see it at all. A better offer than that one coming in. So, yeah, get his 315, 325k wages, whatever they are. Get that off the books, and we're going to move forward from there. That's it. I mean, yeah, you know, if you once you get Chilwell and Sterling off the books, that's over £500,000 a week off the books, chat. Over 500,000 off the books. That's mental. Absolutely mental when you actually think about it. It's a madness. What I would say, though, like, the drop-off in Raheem Sterling's career is mad, isn't it? When you think about it, it's absolutely mad, the drop-off in Sterling's career. When you look at, since he left Man City, it's just gone downhill. It's just gone down, 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 down. That shit needs to be studied. It's mad, really, isn't it? But we're finally hearing the first sort of thing we've heard of actual interest in him. Actual interest in Raheem Sterling from an unnamed club in Europe. Champions League club. I think that'll be a good move for him. I think he just needs to get out of England. You know, go and do what Rashford's done or whatever. Go and do just fresh start somewhere else, different country, different culture, away from the spotlight, and try and rebuild your career, basically. But yeah, we get 20 million for him and those wages off the books. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful, chap. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? It would be absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I mean, Sterling's had an exceptional career, by the way. Been a top player. Has been one of the best wide players in the Premier League. But these last 3 years or so, they've just been terrible. The drop off has just been mad. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get why the drop off has been so big. How much on the development of Thiago Silva? What do you mean? I don't know much about Thiago Silva's son, but I think he signed a scholarship with Chelsea. So, yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But yeah, look, obviously, you know, you wish Sterling the best or whatever. It didn't work out at Chelsea. He's had a big drop off. Let's get the wages off the books. Let's get whatever transfer fee we can get for him, and yeah, and then we can just forget about it and move on with everything. Just forget about it and move on. That's exactly what we should be doing. Forget about it and move on, chat. Forget about it and move on. Easy as you like. There's a reason why City and Pep were happy to get rid of him. I think they probably preempted. I think they preempted the downfall, chat. I think they preempted the downfall. I think Pep knew it was coming. But those days at City with Sterling, Sane, and Aguero, bro, that was mad. That was a mad front line. It was a mad front line. You know, I've seen unless it's a fresh update, we've already covered the Ben Jacobs and Hato thing. Yeah, we've already covered the Hato thing. Yeah, it was a mistake. Obviously, looking back, there wasn't really the wage structure in place or anything like that. Yeah, it was a mistake to offer Sterling that contract. I think we know that now. Obviously, at the time, Tuchel wanted him lots. It was billed as a marquee signing as such. It just never turned out to be the move we thought it was going to be. And that's the way it goes. So let's just get this deal done, get his wages off the books, and we move forward. Simple as that. Let's quickly talk Axel Disasi as well, because again, another player Chelsea are looking to move on. We know there was interest from Villarreal. There was reported interest from Newcastle. But now, Villarreal, and again, we shouldn't be loaning Disasi unless there's an obligation to buy. Unless there's an obligation to buy. Villarreal are expected to make a loan offer for Axel Disasi today and begin negotiations with Chelsea. Now, this L'Equipe article is saying Neom is also considering, Neom aren't considering the Chelsea. Aston Villa loaned, Villarreal is expected to make a loan offer to begin the negotiations with Chelsea. The English club would like a permanent transfer for Disasi. Juventus and Newcastle have made inquiries but have not yet taken any further action. The French international, who made 13 appearances in all competitions for Chelsea in the first half of last season, joined the Villains mid-season and made 10 appearances, including 3 in the Champions League. So Villarreal are going to make a loan offer to start negotiations with Chelsea, as I've maintained with others. Loan deal, fine, but make sure there's an obligation to buy. Make sure there's an obligation to buy in it. Don't just have a straight loan bullshit deal where we then have to just kick that problem 12 months down the line. Let's make sure that we're actually serious, chat. Let's make sure that we're serious on that one. I'm surprised we're finding it. I don't know if I'm surprised or not, but we are finding it a bit more difficult to move Disasi on than I was potentially expecting. I wasn't potentially expecting it to be as difficult. Yes, big up, brother. No, Chelsea are aware of the situation. One to watch, basically. There's been no offers yet. Bro, it can't be an option because more than likely they won't take the option up. If it's going to be a loan, there's got to be an obligation. Is Badiashile staying then? I think Badiashile could well end up staying. I think he'll end up staying. If he's happy to be like a 4th or 5th choice centre-back, then I think he will end up staying. Yes, that would be my opinion on it. So yeah, I mean, look, these guys, whatever we need to do, let's just go and get it done. Again, Chalobah's not up for sale. Chelsea are not actively looking to get rid of Chalobah. You know, they're happy for him to stay, but if a really good offer came in for Chalobah, we're talking over £40 million, then Chelsea would likely accept. But that's different than actively looking to sell. But yeah, you know, the situation has changed massively from last summer to this summer. I mean, the story of Chalobah, by the way, is incredible in terms of resiliency, in terms of being a model professional, attitude, mentality. Literally went from the bomb squad to world champion. That's some going. Bomb squad to world champion. Well, you'd like to think so, considering the shit that how shitly they treated him last season. Do you get what I mean? How badly they treated him last season. You'd like to think that there would be a bit more respect now this season. A bit more respect on his name. But yeah, he's totally changed it round. Tosin will stay. Tosin will be a squad option. Fofana will play as well, providing he's fit. But Chalobah's been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And the level that he's played at has been superb. It's been superb, chap. No denying it. You know, I wouldn't be selling Chalobah at all. I'm not saying he'll start every single week, but he's more than good enough to be playing multiple games for this club next season and be a vitally important member of the squad. So under no circumstances should he be going anywhere. He doesn't want to leave Chelsea. Chelsea aren't looking to actively sell him. The only way it comes in is 50 million plus, in my opinion. Chelsea would consider it, but then again, it will be down to Trevor whether he wants to leave or not. And I get the feeling that he's not really up for leaving. So I'd be very surprised if he wasn't a Chelsea player next season. Yeah, massively, massively, massively. Both stepped up big time. So, yeah, fair play to him for that. Yeah, but the bid would have to be £50 million plus, and the player would also have to want to go. So yeah, we got to be again. There's a lot of things that need to happen in order for that to take place. There's a lot of things that would need to happen, and I don't see all those things happening. So let's see. But again, given that Fofana's injury record, and given that he's failed to show that he can stay fit for long periods of time, I'm not sure that Fofana warrants being ahead of Chalobah right now. Do we need to improve at right centre back? Probably eventually, but at the moment, I'm not sure how good the market really is. And I'm actually more than happy with our current options. Well, look, Yildiz is someone that Chelsea have looked at, but other than that, it's nothing more than that, chap. Nothing more than that. Again, the players got to want the move as well. The players got to want the move as well. But yeah, I don't think Chalobah will be going anywhere. Let's have a quick look if any other stuff has come through. Let's have a quick look, chat. I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Let me have a quick check on a couple of pages. Yeah, Renato Vega is closing in on a move to Atletico Madrid. Talks are continuing in that regard. Club-to-club talks will begin today for Vega, so that deal should get done. But yeah, chat, we're going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's tuned in this afternoon. Appreciate the support from each and every single one of you. Another top show. Big yourselves up. Guys, loads covered today. Xavi Simons' move should be moving forward over the next couple of days. Same with Renato Vega. Let's see what happens once he goes, whether things speed up for Jarell Hato. But yeah, guys, great show. Thanks for tuning in. Big love to all the chat. These shows can't happen without you. Please smash that like button on the way out. Let's get as close to 200 likes as we can on our way out. So smash up the likes. Subscribe if you're new around here. Road to 20,000 subscribers. Every new subscriber helps. Big love for today, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Unless anything major happens, I'll be back again tomorrow for another show. So let's see what the next 24 hours has got in store for us. Until then, big love, up the Chelsea, and I'm out. Peace.